Heat is energy transferred between substances of differing temperatures. So it's energy transferred between objects with different temperatures. Okay? What direction does heat flow? Nope. Good guess, though. It does flow up sometimes.
High to low.
Not high to low. Well, high to low what?
Temperature.
Yes, high to low temperature. So usually the colder is up and the hotter is low, which is why it goes. Why? No, it's usually, so you talk about heat rises. So it's usually colder higher up, and so that's why the heat goes up. And then
That's confusing.
yeah. So in what direction does heat flow? Heat flows from high temperature to low temperature. Now, to be specific, this is high temp to low temp naturally. You can go from low temps to high temps. Okay? Anyone got an example of that? Where you can go from a low temperature to a high temperature? It's not natural. It does. You have to make it do this.
Like resistors? Be outside and then walk inside.
Okay. Yeah, it's still going outside. It's going from outside to you, and inside it's going from you to outside. So it's still naturally going from high to low. Huh? Yep.
Conductor?
Getting there. Nope. Getting there. Refrigerators. Where does the energy go? It goes from inside the refrigerator, which is cold, to outside the refrigerator, which is hot. It goes from cold to hot, not hot to cold. How does that work? You have to do work on it. Okay? So naturally, it goes from high temperatures to low temperatures.
What about like an ice maker? Like where the ice goes from like out the refrigerator into the cup?
So we'll talk about that. No. So we're going to talk about that in the practice questions because we do some heat transfer questions, and that's what we're going to look at. Okay. So what is internal energy and what does it relate to heat? Let's go over here in the middle. Ishan, what you got?
I said the grand total of all the energy is inside a substance. Again, I said how it relates is a substance does not contain heat is internal.
Yeah. So total of all energy of an object. And yes, so here is something really important. Objects don't have heat. Objects cannot have heat. Okay? Objects don't have heat. You can't be like, oh, this object has a lot of heat in it. That's not true. It may have a lot of internal energy, but it does not have a lot of heat. Heat is the transfer of energy. It's the transfer of energy. Yes, it can be hot. It can have a high temperature, but it's not going to have a high heat. So how do we measure heat? We measure heat in joules or calories. Question?
If heat is the transfer, why is there heat transfer?
So heat transfer is the actual action of energy going from one thing to another. So we call the transfer heat, and the actual thing is energy. But we use those terms interchangeably. So you can't have heat, you transfer heat, and the heat transfer is called energy transfer. Yeah.
So what is energy transfer? If heat transfer is energy transfer.
Then when it's thermal energy, it's heat. If it's other kinds of energy, then it's other types of energy transfer. But if it's thermal energy, it's heat. Yeah, Ryan.
We're like, so why do we have heat?
So your body is constantly making your molecules vibrate. And so like when you eat, you metabolize food, and that turns into energy, and your heart pumps, and your blood moves through your body. So your body's constantly doing things that cause its energy to gain. And so that causes your temperature to rise, and then your body cools itself off by radiation, which is a type of heat transfer, which is if you put your hand above your arm, you can like feel the heat coming off your arm a little bit. Yeah? So that's your body regular. So like the reason your regular temperature is 98.7 is because your body heats up and then it transfers energy to the area around you, which causes your temperature to regulate to that temperature. Yeah?
Why do you need like certain like temperature conditions to survive?
Because your body can only manufacture its bodily functions at a certain temperature range. And your body can only manufacture its own heat up to a certain point. So if your body temp gets too low, you get hypothermia, your body functions cease to happen. And that's when you can die or lose body parts or stuff like that. Way in the back.
Since we can measure heat in joules and calories,
Yeah.
I mean we can measure explosions based in calories.
Yes. If you wanted to. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can, yes. Malachi.
Imagine getting an explosion.
2 million
That means
calories.
like our body's like vibrating too fast. When you're like you have a fever.
Yeah.
When you're sick, something's like wrong, and that's how we know.
Yeah. Yeah, because what your body does is, so your body knows that certain bacteria only live in certain temperature ranges, like 98.7. So what your body does is it raises its temperature to like 100 and to kill the stuff off. Yeah. Yeah. I know. Your body is insanely smart. Yeah.
Why do you say not because a lot of heat if it's transferring so much temperature from itself to the air, right?
So you don't want to say objects have heat because heat is not something you can possess. Heat is something you give to something else. So what is it? Love isn't what you have, it's what you give away to others. Yep, no, that's totally what it is. Anyway, that's the idea. That's the idea with heat. Heat isn't something you have, it's something you give away to another object. Temperature is what you have. You have temperature. Okay, so draw a conclusion. Heat, temperature, measure two different things. How are they different? How do they measure? What's going on? So here's what the difference is. So temperature measures how much energy you have. So it measures how much energy you have. Specifically, I want to be specific on what type of energy you have. It's how much kinetic energy your particles have. So when you have a really high temperature, it means your particles are vibrating really fast. Okay? So when you have a fever, your body particles are vibrating faster than normal. Okay? Heat, when something feels hot, when something feels hot, that's energy transfer, that's heat. Heat is the transfer of energy. So, let's answer Ryan's question about the ice cube. When you grab on the ice cube and it feels cold, what are you transferring? Heat. Yes. From where to where? From your hand to the ice cube. So why does your hand feel cold? Because the energy is leaving. Yeah, it's leaving. If you stick your hand on the burner while turning it on, it's going to feel hot. Not for very long. Then you won't feel your hand anymore. But it's going to feel hot. Why? Which way is the energy going? Yeah, into your hand. So when things feel hot, the energy goes in. When things feel cold, the energy goes out. That's how you can tell. Yeah. Yeah, the reason is you're used to your body always transferring heat out. Like that's what your natural temperature feels, is your body's giving off heat. Because very rarely are you in temperatures higher than your body temperature is. So your body is used to giving off that energy. So if you all of a sudden aren't giving off that energy anymore, it starts feeling hot because you just feel all the body energy you have already. This is also why on like really humid days, it feels hotter. So it can be like 80 degrees and really humid and feel hotter than 100 degrees without humidity. Because on humid days, your body can't sweat. And so that's the natural way your body gets rid of energy. And so if it can't do that, it just builds up energy inside your body instead. And so you start feeling hotter than you would be otherwise. We'll talk about that. So we'll talk about, in this unit, we'll talk about phase changes. One of the phase changes is turning from liquids into gases. It's a cooling process. So what happens is your body gets sweat. It causes your body to cool. But that only happens if you can form liquid on the outside of your body. If it's too humid, you can't form liquid on the outside of your body. It doesn't evaporate, so it doesn't cool, and you just got all of this really hot sweat on your body. It feels gross.
So you do sweat, just like
Correct. I should rephrase it. You do sweat, but it doesn't do anything. It just stays on your body. It doesn't evaporate off or anything like that.
salty water.
Yes, just dripping down your face and all that kind of good stuff.